7:14 on the clock.
Well, good morning, everybody. My coffee is now finished. I needed a quick spurt of an espresso to get going this morning. This is Patricia and David, Gulf Harbour Radio, and it is the 5th of July. Oh, we slept well after all that pumpkin pie. Now, I know some of you will say that you don't have pumpkin pie on July 4th, but it is winter here. So, and David doesn't need any excuse for pumpkin pie or anything else that can hold lashings of whipped cream. So yesterday here in the Auckland area was an absolute stunner for rain. We had 35 millimetres. It just rained and rained all day. Absolute chaos on the roads come commute time. The odd car broke down in a critical place like a tunnel or the bridge. Panels came off building sites. It was just a day that you would wish you were inside like we were and eating pumpkin pie.
And whipped cream.
And whipped cream. So, yes, 35 millimetres was as much in one day as we'd had in a month. And, of course, we've had the 6-month drought in the Auckland area. So I suspect that they're not as worried as they were that there would be a water shortage. It was kind of a chuckle anyway. They announced this water shortage and told everyone to have showers no more than 4 minutes and turn the tap off when cleaning your teeth and so on, and the water consumption went up. It shows you how lacking of obedience the Auckland folk are. Anyway, it's not too good a propagation, I don't think, at the moment, and I know that yesterday we were not heard too well in the Lau group, the Northern Lau. Hopefully it will improve by the time David gets to start his weather roundup. And meanwhile, I will tell you a bit of news in no particular order, just as I jotted things down. I got an introductory email yesterday from a Linda Lim. She's the Noon Site regional sub-editor. She lives in New Zealand, in Raglan, having cruised particularly around the Thailand, Malaysian area. So I'm in touch quite a lot with Sue, the editor, over in the other side of the world. So she's put me in touch with this Linda Lim. We exchange information from time to time. Facebook. It's got a plan to limit the reach of bogus medical cures. Now, these are things like the Alternative Cancer Treatment Group, which has 7,000 members. The National Healings Via Food Group, which has 100,000 members. The Colloidal Silver Success Stories has 9,000, and so on. Facebook have algorithms using keywords and phrases that they've been given by the more traditional medical folk to find posts that contain these sensational health claims that people cling to when they've got a disease that's life-threatening. I always remember the chuckles I used to get. I was in the food industry in the United States, the more traditional foods, protein products from milk that we exported to there. But as part of that, because a lot of our whey proteins in particular, went into the bodybuilder area, I went to the odd conference or display that had all of these alternative foods. Honestly, you should have seen the claims. They could cure anything from cancer to a sore throat, probably send you to the moon as well. It was just amazing what some of these things, teas and God knows what. Anyway, they're trying to control some of the more ludicrous claims that people are making. Facebook, its whole purpose in life was to connect people, but boy, there is limits to what when you can take that. There are no limits, so they have to start doing something about it. Well, Washington had an Independence Day military parade. Mr. Trump decided that if North Korea could have one and everybody else in the world has a military parade, that he'd have one too. He had a couple of Bradley armoured carriers and a couple of M1A1 Abrams tanks. It was called the Salute to America Parade. Had a lot of military jets flying over and fireworks, and he did a speech from the Lincoln Memorial. Actually, not too many people came. It was a bit drizzly, I think, but anyway, that was the start of his military parade. Just a bit more on that fire in the Russian submarine. It was in the battery compartment, and it was very fortunate it didn't reach the nuclear power plant of the submarine, and the crew actually died of smoke inhalation. More dramatic news, there was an Iranian oil tanker, and I am talking a huge oil tanker. It was seized by authorities in Gibraltar with the help, I might add, of the British Royal Marines. There are about 30 Marines from 42 Commando. They boarded the Grace 1, a very long ship, from a helicopter by rope. No shots were fired. The Iranians are, needless to say, a little bit upset about it, but it was heading, they believe, to Syria in breach of EU sanctions. It took a very convoluted route to get to Syria via the Mediterranean, kind of a strange route, but they were followed by all sorts of people, including the USA and the UK. So it's now in Gibraltar. I guess there'll be a fairly cheap fuel in Gibraltar for a while. The Wolf of Wall Street. I guess we've all seen that film. The producer, Riza Aziz, has been arrested in Malaysia for money laundering. He's the stepson, as it turns out, of the former Malaysian Prime Minister, Najib Razak. They reckon he misappropriated money from a multi-billion-dollar state fund to finance the film and a luxury lifestyle. They've confiscated all sorts of amazing stuff. His wife has also been charged with money laundering and tax evasion. If they can't get you on one thing, they'll always get you on tax evasion, I think.
Yeah. They get Al Capone, they get you.
Well, Sweden has, you wouldn't know this, and I certainly didn't know it, they've had formal diplomatic relations with North Korea for nearly 50 years, since 1973. So they were very useful in getting the Australian student out of jail there. They still don't know why he was detained, but Sweden did their thing. Quite useful to have a country like that with diplomatic ties to help when needed. So that student is now on his way back to Australia. Well, we've talked about the chaos in Auckland for the rain. Just going on finally now to, I haven't got much today actually because, I don't know, there's just, not much going on. The US has laid legal grounds for a strike on Iran. It's actually building quite seriously, this whole US versus Iran. The Trump administration is looking at all possible avenues to justify the attack. It's actually quite complex. I couldn't really understand it. There's been various things that they're trying to tie it to, laws that were made post 9/11. They need cabinet, or not cabinet, they need a Senate approval. And so they're going through all sorts of possible ways of making sure that there is support for a strike on Iran. So it is getting quite serious. So I'm getting worried about it actually because in less than a month I fly through Dubai and it's not exactly going to be very peaceful in the skies around that area if this goes ahead. So I'm watching it quite closely, but it was very complicated to try and read and understand how they would actually get sort of a reason or legal grounds. It's very, very complicated. So
plenty of reasons.
Plenty of reasons, but yes, the legal constraints might be a little bit hard to put together. All right, now I am going to have a look here at streaming, see what's happening up with you guys. We heard from Eye Candy at Muscat, very pleasant there, 5 knots from the east, and Valak quartered in. Much the same over there in Sabu southeast 4 to 6 with the odd gust, 1013.7 and 30% alto Q and cumulus, and the sea riffles. I like that word, sea riffles.
Sea riffles.
Sea riffles. No, not ripples, riffles with an F. Foxtrot.
Oh, riffles.
Riffles, yes. Y2K, they're in Port Havana, one of our favourite spots, mostly cloudy. The bar up there is 1014.5, 24, very, very pleasant, 12 to 14 southeast, and in the Blue Lagoon, the showers, much more pleasant than it was last week, thank you, John, 20% cloud, 12 to 15 knots from the east. Oh, we're coming in okay in the outer. Well, that's interesting. Malakula, Mr. Troy's still there. No rain. Oh, that's a good day then. 25 degrees there.
Just wait.
Oh, they've got radar QRM there. Goodness, things are hotting up a bit, aren't they? Radar up there. Well, if it gets too bad, let me know. We might have to move. Vianney Bay, thanks Scoot. It was windy last night. 15 to 25 east northeast, gusting to 30. That was when you showed me that the wind thing, wasn't it? Yes, it was pretty windy there. 30 knots, so it looked about 20-25 on that. So 10 to 15 east northeast and sunny this morning. So that's a bit of an improvement. Earthquake in South California 2 hours ago. Well, that hasn't come through for me. It shows you have to be in Vanuatu to get good news. And squally conditions in the Afu still, 80% cloud cover. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing whether you're going to get, well, actually the satellite picture looking over your shoulder doesn't look too bad for you Minervans. And Kuhela, no wind, checking out this afternoon. Wow, that's been a long wait for Joshua and his crew.
No wind.
No wind in Opua. So there you go. Well, there's not much wind here. There's no wind here. So it's all settled down. Hopefully the seas will settle down as well. So that will be good. And I know a boat in Tauranga is leaving and one in Bison Cove is leaving. So, boy, we've got a little bit of activity going from here today, which is good because those people have been really, really patient with all these damn northerlies. So, Manawai, if your crew are listening, you, Phil, and Eagle's Wings, and I haven't heard from Blue, the folk in Raglan. Blue,
I have something to say.
Moon. All right, if you've got something to say, I'll pass the microphone.
Well, enjoy Opua because Cape Reinga is 35 knots. 35 knots. It is rough offshore.
Well, they do know to take their time in checking out because actually customs don't even arrive until 8:30, I think. Anyway, there will be no panic to leave with a report like 35 at Cape Reinga. Goodness gracious me. That's fairly significant, isn't it? What direction did you say?
I didn't look.
Oh, you didn't look. All right. You need to look. You're the weather person. All right. That's about it.
Subtly.
Is there anybody with anything before we pass the microphone for a more intelligent weather report?
Rationally do.
Sorry, I was laughing too much. There was somebody there. Well, it sounds a little bit like Shainu. Do you reckon it was Shainu? Whoever it was, go ahead. Oh, it is you, Jonathan. Go ahead. Well, I got the 1012 and that was about it. So not very good. In fact, I could barely copy Andrew before. So I'm not sure where you are, but I will try again after David's finished. Things might improve. Did anyone copy Jonathan? Just to make sure he didn't ask something that we need to respond to. Please call now. Well, I'm not going to be able to copy anybody at the moment, so I'm going to pass the microphone, and hopefully by the time David's finished, everybody will have turned their heaters off and gone to work in the area, and there will be less power noise going past my door. Here's David.
Yeah, good morning. And right, when I'm done, perhaps we'll be able to hear a little bit better so you can come with your questions then. Sounds like we were getting a weather report, which is good. But we'll try that later. All right, a look at today's synoptic picture. It's almost a copy of yesterday's. Our high to the east, still strong, 1038 millibar, 1038, central pressure. Now the high in the Tasman, that's pretty big, 1042, 1042 central pressure, and it's slowly, very slowly moving east. Squeezed in between is the New Zealand Depression. Now it's moved a wee bit. It's east of Cook Strait at the moment, but has sent troughs north over the cruising routes, plus a quasi-stationary front that extends north, then it goes west to Queensland. This front is just to the south of New Caledonia. It's tickling the outer reef of New Caledonia. The other item, an active trough, runs up the date line, and then it angles and lies over and just to the west of Fiji. That's the retrograde trough that we've been talking about. Other action in the tropics, as a trough from Tuvalu runs to Samoa, and cloud from that and trough conditions affect Wallis and Futuna as well, like yesterday. Another parallel trough runs from Tokelau to, well, it just goes southeastward. Lastly, the quasi-stationary front runs from Raoul to the southern Cooks. This is a different quasi-stationary front. So a lot of activity. Now, for those that wish to depart New Zealand today, well, as I said, expect southwest winds up to 30 knots. And we just heard what the actuals were at Cape Reinga, so it is blowing. These should ease a bit later today, maybe about 20 knots out of the south, and then shifting southwest on Saturday, maybe southwest about 20. Now, the swells at the moment are 3 meters from the northeast. So you've got a northeast swell coming at you at 10, 11 feet and a southwest wind of up to 30 knots. Take your seasick pills. Today is doable, but I'd say Saturday is a better day. Anyway, it's up to you. Our Tasman high Saturday does push a very nice ridge over the cruising routes with southerlies extending all the way up to 30 south. And you're going to encounter light air on Tuesday as you continue north. And towards the end of the week, as the high starts to move to the east, those winds are going to be coming out of the northeast. So there's a limited window this time. So we'll see how you all do. Now, shifting our interest to Minerva. The Minervans, well, boy, you guys have certainly been through the mill. The retrograde trough mostly west of the reefs this morning. Scattered cloud remained from what I could see on imagery. Some showers in that. Winds today should have eased a bit. I'll call it northeast about 20, gusts getting up to maybe 25 or so. All of the wind flow is from our high, that's to the east. Now tomorrow, Saturday, it lightens a little bit more. Northeast winds at Minerva around 15 knots. Now, you Minervans could try for Fiji then. I know you want to. The winds en route slowly veer to become easterlies 10 to 15 as you're heading toward Fiji, but they do start to turn northeast on Monday as the frontal band from New Zealand does approach Minerva and Fiji as well. So there is a frontal band that's coming. I think you could make it to Fiji leaving Saturday before that front gets there, but it's one of those things. Everything is timing. Winds on Tuesday jumping a bit for Minerva to Fiji your time. There should be southeasterlies at that point and continue for a number of days. So there's your wind shift, favorable wind shift. And that information is for those that still are going to wait in Minerva. Now there is going to be convective activity en route then to both Fiji or Tonga, and the winds will be in the 20 knot range. So anyway, for those that do leave tomorrow, if you would, please keep a weather log and let us know around Monday, Sunday night, Monday, whatever, the conditions that you've encountered. And I'd appreciate if you compare them with your model data and what model you're using. All this is my little, what would you call it, review of what's out there. Over to Tonga now. The trough has moved west, back over to Fiji. Leaves broken to scattered cloud over Tonga. The lower cloud is moving with winds between the surface and 850 millibar, but the middle clouds are moving to the northeast. They're being pushed by 700 millibar winds. I've been looking at 700 millibar quite a bit because we've been getting a lot of convergence at 10,000 feet. And that is going to cause some upflow when that happens. And that, as we said yesterday, aids and abets whatever weather is down below. So anyhow, the weather today will be mostly fine at last for Tonga, but there will be cloudy periods and scattered showers, as I mentioned, and that should continue tomorrow. Now, the gale warnings have been canceled and replaced by a strong wind warning for the entire group. Tongan Met calls for east to southeast 15 to 20, rising up to 25 at times. Now, for Vavau, things should be dropping to about 10 to 15 tomorrow. The Hapais and Tongatapu, east to northeast 15 to 20 today, easing to 10 to 15 tomorrow. So things certainly improve for Saturday. Residual seas are still rough, though, at about 2 to 3 meters. They'll come down. And the easterly swell, that might not. That's still present, 3 to 4 meters. The actuals at 5 a.m. this morning, Vavau was east 9 knots, scattered cloud, barometer 1016. The Hapais were east-southeast 16, scattered cloud. There was some towering cumulus there, barometer 1016 as well. And Tongatapu east 10, scattered to broken, barometer 1018. Now, Tongatapu experienced showers and rain earlier. So it was about 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Now, the winds that I gave you earlier there, they're from Tonga Met. I think in reality, the winds might be a wee bit stronger through the weekend, maybe getting up to about 25 knots, mostly easterly. So we'll see how it goes. Over to Fiji. Fiji gets the distinction of experiencing the same trough twice. So expect cloudy periods with showers over most of the group today. This should continue a bit through Saturday as the trough continues west heading for Vanuatu. So today expect east to southeast 15 to 20, much the same tomorrow, and that's per Fiji Met. Model data implies mostly east to east-northeast. Now for the Lau today, we've got quite a few boats that are going to the Lau. We have boats that are in the Lau that want to go south, that are in the northern Lau, want to go to the southern Lau. So the winds today, I'd say maybe easterlies, about 20 knots, gusting 25. Saturday, we're looking at 15 to 20, gusts getting up to about 25 as well. Sunday still looks like easterlies, about 15. The gusts, I don't know, I think 20 to 25 as well on Sunday. Now, the winds really lighten up on Monday. Northeast about 10 to 15. So if you're in the north and wanting to go south, Monday looks pretty good. And about the same thing on Tuesday. Now, Muscat Cove looks great right through the weekend. A big wind shadow there. So Muscat Cove looks good. The Osawas, though, they don't have the wind shadow. They're looking at 15 to 20 east to east-southeast. Now, call if you need other areas. I could certainly do that for you. The radar loop this morning shows plenty of showers, all moving east-northeast to west-southwest. These come and go, but they're there. You can see them on the loop. And I'll give you a couple of quick actuals. These are the airport METARs. Vanua Balabu, east 18, barometer 1017. The Osawas, east 12, barometer 1013. Ono, northeast 14, barometer 1017. And Undu Point up there, east 14, barometer 1012. So that's the story for Fiji, Tonga, and Fiji. Moving over to Vanuatu now, still under trough conditions, being kindly sent to the southeast from the Solomons. Thank the Solomons there. Satellite imagery shows plenty of cloud, especially north of Port Vila. Winds for the most part southeast 15 to 20, I'd say, but lighter at Tana down to Anisham. It's going to pick up Saturday, southeast, getting up to 25 knots, I think. And remember, of course, that the lee side of these islands, the chain, offer wind shadows, so certainly you'll be protected if you're on the west side to a large extent. Except if you're, well, as I told you before, very strange things happen in Vanuatu. The southeasterly winds could become northerlies or southerlies on the lee side of the islands. You get a wraparound wind, and it extends a long way at times. So while you think you may be getting protected, actually you're not, and the winds come fairly moderate from a totally different direction. Anyhow, Sunday, out in the open water, south-southeast 25, but the northern group should see a bit of an ease, and I would say east to east-southeast about 10 to maybe 15. Now, expect the Fiji trough, this is moving west now, it's going to continue doing so, and that should arrive Vanuatu, I'm thinking late tomorrow, late Saturday. Now, this is a fairly active trough, so you should be able to get your water tanks filled with this. Quite a bit of the rain is going to fall in the middle group on Sunday, and the northern group probably on Monday. Don't know how much you'll get down south. Okay, over to New Caledonia, where imagery shows a fair bit of cloud. This is mainly from the frontal band that's coming from New Zealand. Now, by around lunch, expect some cloud, a little bit of sun as well. Southeast winds around 10 knots. By afternoon, though, the winds are going to shift east-southeast 15 to 20, and you're going to get some rain, I think. Now, early Saturday, east-southeast still 15 to 20 and more rain. Ile de Pan could see gusts up to 30, however. But by lunch tomorrow, the southern lagoon does blow. We're looking at east-southeast 25 and gusts maybe getting up to 40 and plenty of rain with this. Sunday, still east-southeast, gusts getting up to 30 and partly cloudy as the showers start to diminish. The loyalties, though, they continue to get hammered. So do be careful out there this weekend. There's going to be rain, poor visibility, and a lot of wind. Not a good time to be in the Yellows. So enjoy wherever you go. I'd be in Noumea, and we'd be eating croissants and some fabulous food in those restaurants. Give you a few actuals at 5 a.m. The Outer Reef, southeast 13. Ile de Pan reported south 6. Noumea reported southeast 12. And that's it for me. That's your weekend. Hope you understood all that. And if you've got questions, come now, and I'll pass you over to the chief.
Somebody just called. What was it?
Gotta go.
Gotta go. Boy, what a name for a boat stuck in Maneuver. Go ahead. Okay, it's not very good copy from you today, so I think you're talking about the swell. And I bet the other half is interested in the swell. If he's just having a look on the swell, if you leave Minerva today or tomorrow, I'll pass the microphone. No, he's not quite ready yet. He's looking at something else.
No, I'm trying to find that data.
You're trying to find that data. Okay. Yeah, in the meantime, whilst he was talking, I was looking at the latest post from Whistler. They have the most amazing blog, and the pictures, it sort of makes us feel that we're part of it. It's really lovely to get people's pictures. If you do have a blog, let us know from time to time when you put something on it. This one's from the Hapais. And, well, one of the pictures is actually they catch fish along the way, and a skipjack didn't quite make it to the boat. It got chomped off behind its gills, a really nice slice from a large wahoo. I didn't think that they were that vicious. anyway, nice picture of the mahi mahi and the couple of islands that, well, there were about 4 boats there. I think it was Malachite and Saltheart and somebody rather else.
Easterly,
yeah.
3 to 4 meters.
Hang on, David has just come up with a number.
Easterly
3 to 4 meters. Is that today or tomorrow?
That's Saturday.
That's Saturday. 3 to 4 meters tomorrow. Over.
Probably 2.5 to 3 as you get near.
2.5 to 3 as you get a bit closer, so it does moderate somewhat. But anyway, I suppose it could be in a worse direction, so that's the direction's not too bad. All right, is there anybody else with any question? Boy, they're difficult to hear at this end. I'm not sure who that was, but there was somebody there, and hopefully we'll hear you better than Craig. Go ahead. No, nothing heard. All right. Challenging conditions today for hearing.
Try Jonathan again.
Try Jonathan. Oh, that's right. Try Jonathan again. Shainu. Let's see if conditions have changed. Shainu. Probably going to get us coffee. All right, folks, have a very good weekend. We hope it's going to be somewhat drier here than it was yesterday, and we will, of course, be back again on Monday. So if there's nothing further from anybody, we'll leave you to the frequency. This is Gold Harbour Radio Clear. Oh, gosh, you're loud and strong, David. Go ahead, Anahata. Oh, that's right. Boats in Fiji who want to go to Wallis or Futuna. And I know that Whistler was looking at that from Tonga as well. It doesn't look very nice at the moment, but this is next week, Monday or Tuesday or whatever. I'll put David on the job. So, folks, we're looking at getting north from Fiji in particular, Tonga also, to Wallis and Futuna.
Leaving Monday, the wind should be easterly starting off. This is from Fiji, right?
Yes.
Starting from Fiji. So easterly is maybe around 10 knots, and it looks like it stays 10 all the way up there. That's on Monday, and we'll take a look at Tuesday. Pretty much the same. The wind backs a bit as you get near Wallis or Futuna. It looks like northeast, so you'll be going into it on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, definitely northeast winds. And they're going to be feeding a bit of trough activity. Let me look.
Speak up.
1 minute. Let me look 1 minute there. I'm going to pass it back to the chief. I'll be back.
Yeah, sounds like leaving earlier than later is the name of the game if you don't want northeasterlies. But yes, and Whistler have confirmed that they're wanting to go to Wallis as well. So that's from Niafu area. So yeah, he's having a look at, I think, a different model. I know the French model, for those that are looking yourselves over the weekend, definitely go to the French model. When you go on to the one, you'll think it's just New Caledonia, but it's not. They cover Wallis and Futuna as well, and that's they're pretty good, generally speaking. So I'll pass the microphone back in a minute when he's finished. And I can confirm that we've actually got 100% cloud cover here.
Alrighty, and I am looking at different models, not GFS, not EC. And I believe there will be some convective activity in the Tuesday, Wednesday time frame, so you're going to have to take that into account. And definitely on Tuesday, the winds are going to be, there's actually a very small disturbance to the west of Futuna, both Wallis and Futuna. Very, very light cyclonic rotation, 10 knots, maybe even 15, possibly even 15. So that is going to produce some cloud and convective activity. And on Wednesday, again, north to northeast, I would say, for Wallace and Futuna. Again, light air, about 10, maybe 10 to 15. But you do have that possibility of visibility issues. So keep that in mind because you've got to get in those passes. Yeah, so that's the story there. If you're not leaving till Monday, we'll obviously be on Monday, so we could look at it right at that point for you.
Whistler don't like the thought of a big easterly swell. They've got a big catamaran. What's wrong with an easterly swell? But and the polar dip next week. Is there a polar dip? That's what you were talking about. Yes,
there's a funnel bend.
Frontal bend. Yep. All right. Is there? I think that covers it. Was there anything else? Back to Anahata. That's about it. Then thank you, David, for the relay. Over. Thank you. Alrighty.